Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Cynthia Salvador. I have Brittney Cook with me here today. She's a friend, fellow realtor, and also part of the Desert Dreamers real estate team. So nice to have you on my channel today.
Thank you for having me, and I'm so excited to chat about what we have going on in this market.
Absolutely. Let's get right down to it because we all know things have changed. Today we are talking about 3 things that are going to benefit a buyer in today's market. Brittney, let's talk about some of the first things that have changed in this market.
Yeah, so one thing that has drastically changed is inventory. Inventory has just shot through the roof. I think this last week we had about 1,000 new listings come on the market in just 1 week, which is crazy. Insane. But with that, with inventory, I mean, you also have less demand. So as a buyer, you have more options to choose from and less competition.
Right, and the buyers that we're working with today, they have so many more options. So they're kind of weighing their pros and cons on each different house.
Yeah.
Whereas before, if they loved a house, they had to jump on it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and now you're able to maybe sit and think about it for a day or two and weigh your pros and cons, and maybe even have a family member come by to check it out before you put in an offer.
Right. Seeing a property more than once is pretty normal right now.
Yeah, and it's honestly a huge plus for buyers because, like you said, in the past, you had to make decisions on a split second and tons of competition. You had homes coming off the market in like 24 hours. So.
Yeah, and that's definitely not the case now. I mean, just the days on market alone, I know in Buckeye, it's over 2 weeks. The homes are definitely sitting.
Yeah, and I think the median right now is about 17 days on market.
So if you're a buyer out there, maybe you have a couple more choices now than you did before.
And way less pressure.
Yes. Another thing that you're gonna find if you're a buyer in this market is seller concessions.
Huge. That was like MIA for the last 3 years.
Yeah,
like
nobody even knew what that meant.
Yeah, what does that term even mean? Well, it means you get a credit from the seller. The great thing about seller concessions is you can use them as a credit towards your closing costs, as well as a credit towards paying down your interest rate, which we all know, we've all heard it, interest rates are higher than they've been in the usual last 3 years.
Right, and they keep changing. Sometimes they even change multiple times throughout the day. So it's not like you have just one set rate. And I guess what's good for buyers is with these interest rates and being able to ask the seller to buy that rate down, it comes in handy.
It really is a huge tool for buyers right now with interest rates not being in their control, not being in anyone's control. Having the ability to negotiate with the seller on price and on concessions is huge for buyers right now in order to get a home.
And finally, this is probably the one that we haven't seen in so long, as well as seller concessions, but repairs actually being made.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Repairs were not even a thing you would consider to ask a seller to. Even 3 months ago, you wouldn't ask a seller for repairs, and that is something that is revenge of the buyers. We now can ask for repairs.
Absolutely.
And that is huge as a buyer, especially if your budget is tight. Having repairs done can save you some money as well.
It definitely can. So it seems like there's so many more ways for buyers to save money since things have really changed. I mean, so many cities are already in a balanced market heading towards a buyer's market.
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, Buckeye, your city that you're very familiar with, is already in a buyer's market.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see how the rest of the cities catch up and reach that buyer's market, which I don't think will be very long.
Another thing I want to touch on is price reduction.
Yes.
Because we're seeing a lot of that.
Yeah, that's a huge selling point right now to look for a home is you have price reductions. You're not paying top dollar for a home anymore. And I mean, it's a downside for sellers, of course, but it's a huge plus for buyers, especially if you've been kicked out of the game for the last 2 years due to prices. We are seeing price reductions, and I want to say anywhere around 15 to 20,000 around the valley.
So to recap, if you're a buyer, these are things to look out for in this type of market. You're going to have more inventory. You're going to have price reductions. You're going to have a lot more seller concessions that you're able to maneuver, and you might get some repairs done too while you're at it.
Huge negotiating right now.
Yeah, so we hope you enjoyed this video. Brittney, thanks so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
I hope you guys enjoyed this video. We'll see you on the next one.